What's this? What's this? There's retro everywhere. What's this? Rewinding podcast, do I dare? What's this? Episode of the Retro Rewind podcast.
Reflux capacitors, fluxing, crew to stations. Scanning for The Nightmare Before Christmas, 1993. Prepare to rewind in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, Rewinders and new listeners, to the Retro Rewind podcast, where we take a fresh look at movies and games from 15 or more years ago. I'm your captain of the pod, Francisco Ruiz, and I believe that Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween movie, and I'm joined by your XO and mine, Paul, the Master Interrupter Powers. Christmas or Halloween, Paul?
It's like more on the Halloween side. Definitely.
All right. Also, for this discussion of the film, The Nightmare Before Christmas, we welcome aboard for the first time Dungeon Master at Playing Games with Strangers, John. How are you? Hey, John.
Hey, that's me. That sounded very natural and like we haven't had to do it multiple times.
Exactly. I'm so glad you know the intonation in my voice so precisely that you can just register that so well. But
I always recognize what you're trying to say.
I am more interested in Halloween or Christmas for this movie.
Hallowismus?
No, I need one or the other.
Christmasween?
I'll go with Christmas. Okay. And in addition, we are glad...
This is a Christmas movie.
Christmas. Okay. All right. And in addition, we are glad to have back aboard clergy officer of the pod, Dallas Marshall Pandamora. Hey,
hello.
Dallas. Hello, Dallas.
So glad to have you guys here on the bottom shelf. Super excited to have you guys
on the show. Our podcast.
Is that what's happening?
Not on the bottom shelf.
Wait a minute. If this is being broadcast on the bottom shelf, who are we to say that it isn't?
Dallas, are we going to simulcast this?
Yeah, are you simulcasting it?
Well, welcome, listeners. We're glad you're
here. You're welcome to simulcast it, but if you're not, then it's not the bottom shelf.
But check them out if you dare.
Yes, definitely do that. And Playing Games with Strangers. But, Dallas, I'm more interested right now. Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween or a Christmas movie?
Why not both?
Because you have to pick one.
Why?
Because I say so.
Are you the captain?
In the Dungeons and Dragons world, this is called railroading, sir.
I'm with John.
Your Honor, leading the witness.
I'm a fan of calling it both, but we'll go Christmas. Just
all right. 2 Christmases, 2 Halloweens. Very nice.
I changed my answer to neither. I really enjoy watching this right after Halloween. It's a good transition.
It's a Thanksgiving movie.
Now that you have a not so quick flyby of who we are, Paul, can you give us a quick overview of the production specs for The Nightmare Before Christmas?
Sure. The Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogie Boogie's Revenge, was released in 2004 on the PlayStation 2 Japan and in 2005 on the Xbox in Europe. It is rated KA and developed by Toes Software. It was published by Capcom, and the music composed by Kengo Hagiwara and Masaya Tsumoto. The reception of the game was mostly mixed, but the average score of it was around 65%.
That's fantastic. Why don't you give me the numbers, like units sold and all that, Paul, and like whether or not it did well at the merchandise store, the department store.
This cannot be substantiated since precise records were not kept after Tannen shot a newspaper editor who printed an unfavorable story about him in 1884.
I think you're mixed up, Paul. It's unsubstantiated because we're not talking about the game. We're talking about the movie.
Well, that would have been great if you brought that to my attention yesterday. I played this game for no reason. I have to go back, fine, and rewatch the movie, right?
Yes, do
all
that.
Right,
now.
Hold on. All right. The Nightmare Before Christmas, the movie, was released to...
Wait. No, not the movie, like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. It's
No. The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay.
Was released October 29th, 1993. That one?
Yes, that one. Thank you. Please proceed.
It runs an hour and 16 minutes, is rated PG, and it was directed by not Tim Burton, but Henry Selick. Mm-hmm. It was written by Tim Burton, though, and Michael McDowell and Caroline Thompson, with lead stars being Danny Elfman, Chris Sarandon, and Catherine O'Hara. The music was composed by some guy that Timmy Burton likes to use. And
Danny Elfman.
Yeah, him. Yeah. All right. You guys ready for the box office trivia game?
I am ready. Dallas,
The what?
John, are you guys ready?
Let's go.
Fantastic. And anyone in live here in chat is welcome to join us as well. Go for it, Paul.
Well, before we do that, it was released October 29th. So doesn't that make this a Halloween movie?
I'd say so.
Anyway.
Only if you want to say that White Christmas is a summertime recorded by Bing Crosby in the month of June.
Well, most
Fine.
Christmas movies are filmed and recorded in the summertime anyway, but to be released in anyway. All right, box office trivia time. The Nightmare Before Christmas was made for about $24 million and earned over $77 million at the box office.
Fantastic.
Yes. Given this fact, how high in the box office do you think it ranks among amongst the movies released theatrically in 1993? This time we'll go for the top 50.
50. All right. John, what is your guess for where it ranks in the top 50 for 1993 movies?
Well, I don't remember it because I was alive at the time, and I don't remember it being like it became a cult hit after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say 45.
45. All right. So kind of low. Dallas, how about yourself?
93. I was pretty young. I don't remember a lot of big things coming out there that stick out. So I'm going to shoot for somewhere in the 25.
No
25?
big things like Jurassic Park dinosaurs.
Again, my memory's like,
No,
I was doing a lot of transition time frames during that time frame. So.
Yeah.
If I didn't have the list right in front of me, I wouldn't have known Jurassic Park came out that year either. So don't worry.
Okay.
You know what else came out that year? Super Mario Brothers, the movie. Check it out on the bottom shelf in the month of November.
Yeah, do that. Except you're on Retro Rewind Podcast now. Check out our review of Super Mario Brothers, the movie, which is out right now at retrorewindpodcast.com/6. But don't go away now. Listen to this. So my guess, I'm going to say, let's see. I'm going to say the year Christ died. Because that's
33?
33.
Is that your version of saying $1 on this show?
No, that'd be number one. One
Or
would be $1.
50.
or 50.
It just struck me as
Let's see. And then,
very Price is Right.
okay.
Sure, we can go that way.
And then in chat, Babo's guess is 42, as he's wont to do. And D-Tungsten guessed 27. And Dallas put in the Mario Brothers movie link. Thank you, Dallas. Paul, where did it end up in the actual box office?
Well, according to the-numbers.com, it came in at 21.
21. Oh, okay. Dallas just missed it. Going over. Sorry, Dallas. You don't win the prize. No one wins the prize except for... Well, no one does because we all busted.
Come on down.
But thank you for those. But no, I mean, Dallas wins because he is the closest. Thank you for those factoids, Paul. And let's see if any of them factor into our memory mind meld or subsequent roundtable discussion, which we will get into once Alice has located our target film.
Alert, alert. Approaching target. Spoilers incoming. Establishing analysis vector.
From Touchstone Pictures. 'Twas the night before Christmas, but in the land of Halloween, it was decided that this year something new would be seen.
Whoa. Surprised, aren't you?
From Tim Burton, the director of Beetlejuice and Ed Scissorhands, comes a motion picture experience unlike any other. Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas.
And what did Santa bring you, honey?
Rated PG. Coming this month to a theater near you.
Yes, and what did our memories bring to mind for The Nightmare Before Christmas? Was it a zombie head? Was it something else? Let's find out in our memory mind meld synopsis for The Nightmare Before Christmas. It's Halloween, and the town's elaborate song and dance routine scares up quite the fanfare, ending with a dramatic entrance of Jack, the Pumpkin King, who likes a girl, but can't be with her because of Oogie Boogie Sack Guy owns her, thus making me realize that I would rather watch a movie about Oogie Boogie. Prince Humperdinck grows immune to his Halloween drug, so he searches for a new obsession through a forest, which, for plot reasons, has the ability to transport to all the holidays and goes to Christmas. After taking Santa's sack, Jack turns Halloween land into Christmas 2 with his amazing sleigh ride sequence, which somehow kills Oogie Boogie, and Jack gets the corpse bride. Jack finally realizes that stealing Christmas like the Grinch doesn't spark joy. Well, isn't that a bunch of deception? I mean, there were some things in there that were accurate, but on the whole, I'd say that was deceptive. But based on those memories, as flawed as they were, what rating did they lead you to predict for this film before rewatching it? Classic, nostalgic, or tragic? John, what was your prediction? Not your final rating, but your prediction for this film.
That I was going to feel after I watched it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tragic.
Coming out strong. Dallas, how about you?
Oh, classic.
Classic. Coming out
Also
strong on the
coming
other
out
side.
Yeah.
Paul, how about yourself?
I'm going to come out with a strong nostalgic.
Strong. Fine.
Okay, Switzerland.
For me, I was kind of likewise like nostalgic. It had been forever since I saw it, but I was like, it may hold up. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll like it now because more in recent years in my adulthood, I've liked other stop motion. I didn't used to like stop motion as a kid, but these days, like with Kubo and the Two Strings, several of the Leica movies, I think stop motion is like, I may appreciate this now. But it'll be interesting to see if those predictions come true. But first, let's get into our discussion of the things we liked most about The Nightmare Before Christmas. Let's go to our
Best three.
And by the way, you will notice I'm struggling with a cold through this, but thank you for
didn't,
listening.
but thanks for bringing it out. I think I'll notice it now that you said it.
Thanks. Does that mean you're going to give me a computer virus?
Yeah, that's how computer viruses work, don't you know? Anyway, let's start with John. What's one thing you liked about this film?
I liked... Yes, that's it right there. It was I enjoyed about this movie, and I cannot lie about it. Especially when a itty bitty thing with a great big waist comes around and puts it in my face.
I did see an anaconda in this movie.
Oh, none unless she's got buns, son.
All right, makes sense.
This isn't Sir Mix-a-Lot. Can we get to Nightmare Before Christmas, please?
He actually was from Seattle, which is in the state where I live.
Fantastic. Is that where this was filmed?
What now? Okay, so no, I liked the concept, the idea behind the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the idea of I'm sorry, I just got distracted by someone saying "How you got back." That's new to me. No, it. Yeah, I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you read the original poem by any chance, or just
no, sir.
Original poem?
Okay. Yeah, that Tim Burton wrote apparently during his time as a Disney animator, which I didn't realize he was a Disney animator. So,
Oh yeah, he worked on another holiday classic of Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Oh, cool. Okay. Okay, but regardless of whether or not you read the poem, you did enjoy the concept of this film, John. Did I understand that right?
Right.
Okay, cool. Dallas, did you enjoy the concept of this film, or was there something else that you really
I did enjoy the concept of the film, but I have actually read the poem. My first like though is actually I enjoyed the small details that they put into the different scenes of the film.
Yes.
From things like clothing moving, like it seems so simple for like, okay, we're just, characters moving, but they animated clothes moving against stuff. Like when Jack was leaning into the doorway, his bow tie actually hit the tree and moved with it and bent with it. Sally's hair randomly moving, reflections in different places. Like
Sally's hair is moving, really got me, and some fire effects even. I'm like, whoa.
But just small details within, because remembering that this is a stop motion animation, like this is
right.
Like they had to think about, hey, let's have this moment here. They made that happen. It's not like it's something that just naturally takes place. They had to think through making it happen. So just small things like that. Like it catches me off guard seeing how beautiful it is. Like the scene where he's explaining Christmas and they move the spotlight, and I'm wondering if they did that just to show off, because dark films work for these type of things because you can hide characters in the background. But when they move the spotlight, Jack's still doing his thing, but everyone's responding to the light at the same time. And so it was just really fascinating to me.
Yeah.
This is when he's doing his presentation of what Christmas is you're talking about? Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that was also my first was the production design, or basically the artistry from a technical perspective. Just like what Dallas was saying, like even like Sally walking through the snow, she's leaving footprints, and then with Jack following her, he has his own set of footprints, and how they do that in stop motion without messing that up, and even the snow looks like real snow. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Usually when you get like on a smaller scale, it's harder to make details like snow look real,
right?
Because it just looks like big dust particles
without
or something,
it melting under the lights and everything.
yeah. So that's really impressive.
Super snow.
Sure. Something that I really gravitated to liking was the performance that Chris Sanderson gave. Sanderson, did I get that right? I know it's Sarandon. Chris Sarandon.
Yeah. That's what, you're asking the guy who always gets name pronunciations wrong.
Well, because I had to remember Susan Sarandon. Yes. They were married. Chris Sarandon.
Yes, Prince Humperdinck.
Yes, Prince Humperdinck. I really liked his voice for Jack. I thought he did a really good job with it. I felt like he had awesome range, and that he really brought that character to life, especially for a character that doesn't have eyes. And I know Disney battled with Tim Burton and company about giving Jack eyes or not, but I thought he's really able to bring a lot of life and not really reality, but grounding to that character in his voice.
Well, when you say range, he only did the speaking voice.
I realize that. I know he didn't sing, but I mean just in the speaking performance. Yeah,
he's legitimately a talented actor, and like voice acting. Just because I've had opportunity to meet so many over the years, half of them hang out with John on a regular basis. Like your ability to present a voice, it makes characters come alive.
Yeah, and
he did a great job at doing that.
Yes, absolutely. Especially for bringing to life a dead guy. It's crazy. How'd you do that?
Ha ha! I see what you did there.
Let's go back to Paul. Actually, what's something else you enjoy, Paul?
Basically, what John started off with is I love the concept, especially the ideas of like holidays having their own land and exploring that. That whole idea is just great to me. There's a lot of potential there.
With if they were to go do a spin-off, what holiday would you like? Not
all
saying
of
they
them. Every episode has a new holiday. I mean, there's trees in there. I'm sure Arbor Day is in there. Let's do them all.
Oh my gosh. Would you want to see like Jack in each situation, or their own self-contained stories?
Their own self-contained stories.
Okay.
But if Jack wants to, it's better than nothing.
All right, cool. Just curious.
Although the Easter Bunny looked kind of boring, but I'd like to see I'd like to see what goes on there.
Well, did you ever see Rise of the Guardians, Paul? I feel like that has a similar idea of all the headlining guys.
I think they did a good job in that. It's been years since I've seen it though.
I've never seen it, so I'm just going off what you have to say about it.
Oh, it's great. You should check it out.
I'll do that. John, should I check out Rise of the Guardians? No. What's something else you liked about Nightmare Before Christmas?
Nothing.
Something else you liked about Nightmare Before Christmas?
I'm not even joking. I only like it.
Are you a fan of the title?
No.
Are you not even a fun spin-off of Night Before Christmas?
Are you a fan of stop motion animation?
Not really.
Are you a fan of music?
Yeah, but there were people I've heard band. Okay, I will put it like this.
Do you like Oingo Boingo?
I will put it like this. If you allow me to talk about something adjacent to the film, which is the Nightmare.
The Nightmare for now.
But it could be
That was a good album, John.
The Nightmare Revisited album, because one of the biggest things when we watched this movie was that I had noticed was I like these songs done better by the actual people on that album. Marilyn Manson did a better.
You mean like when Marilyn Manson did "This Is Halloween"?
Exactly, or when Korn did "Kidnap" the Sandy Claus.
Okay.
Oh, so it was like rock bands or metal bands that did covers of the songs in this, because I've never heard of this album. So I didn't realize what it was. That's cool. And so you liked that take on. So you liked the songs, you just didn't like how they were performed in the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what, John, that's in line with something I really liked, which was Danny Elfman's singing voice in this.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
He has great range.
Yes, yeah, man. I really enjoyed what he did with how he brought singing voice to Jack. But honestly, if kind of you just want to go listen to Oingo Boingo.
You did that to yourself, sir.
Well, okay.
His voice is quite different in Oingo Boingo than in this movie.
It is, but I enjoy those songs maybe a bit more.
Oh, it reminded you of Oingo Boingo, and then it makes you want to go listen to that. Okay,
yeah, exactly, exactly. So that's something else I liked. Dallas, do you like Oingo Boingo?
I really like the camera work that went into the film as a whole.
Sure, yeah.
The perspective, the way that they used their f-stop and blurring things in the background. Again, it's from a lot of my love for it is from a technical point of view.
Yeah.
They did such a great job of the cinematography as a whole.
Yeah.
Can you explain for people that aren't like camera nerds what f-stop sort of?
Yeah. Thank you for editing that. This is a family-friendly podcast.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, the f-stop is a button that Francisco presses every time John gets loud. No. So the f-stop it's about the perspective and where the focal point of your lens is going to hit. So if you crank your f-stop down all the way, so like my camera right here, it's 22 millimeter. I have an f-stop of f2 on it. Mm-hmm. And it's f number 2 for those listening. I know I slur my words sometimes. I'm not cussing out the captain. But
so basically that makes everything behind it blurry.
Exactly. Right? And it gives you that bokeh effect in the background. And so, of course, they're right up on these miniatures. So you're going to have some natural that taking place. But throughout the entire film, they were intentional about every camera angle, which added to like between the camera angles and then with the lighting itself and how they lit different scenes. Like it was just a beautiful piece to watch as a whole.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I imagine they had to be super intentional. Otherwise, you're going to like waste hours upon hours of time on a shot that is ruined because you just like, oh, we didn't plan it this way. But I mean, I imagine there is some of that. It's like, oh, I think this would really work better this way. But
it just felt so dynamic. Like previous stop motion animations that I'd seen beforehand.
Like Gumby and Davy and Goliath.
Like they were so flat. And they were just like, they were boring. Like this is like the first time I watched a stop motion film that captivated me from a technical point of view of how they did it and the way that like I'm watching not just a CBS after school special, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but like this is like an intense like film.
Yeah. Okay. Well, very cool. Awesome. Well, let's get into the most intense parts of our likes, the things we loved most, our classic makers for this. John, maybe you like the title, the font face of this movie. What did you enjoy?
No, I got something. I've got something.
Okay.
I had to think real hard about it.
All right.
But I liked seeing that the sandworm from Beetlejuice was able to get work again.
Yes, I did notice that. Yep. And I think they used a couple. There's the black and white one, which is in the dice, and then the one eating the Christmas tree felt like a riff on it, like is like orange and white or something. But okay, so you liked the Beetlejuice homage, essentially. you like the parts of this movie that weren't this movie. Okay, I see how it is.
That would have been amazing if they had a miniature Beetlejuice hidden in there
somewhere.
That would be great.
If he was dancing around in Halloween Town, it would have changed my perspective on this movie entirely.
Yeah.
Well,
Let
but
Lucas get a hold
Beetlejuice-
of it. We can make that happen.
Beetlejuice isn't Disney though. That
No,
right?
it's
a
not.
different- So yeah, there'd probably be a rights issue with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get Spielberg on the
Regardless.
phone. He can make it happen.
Get P. Gilbert.
Get Spielberg on the phone.
Oh,
He can make it-
Spielberg. Okay.
Yeah.
Or Bryan Singer.
Or Spielbergio, right? Was that his name?
Oh yeah. In The Simpsons. Oh,
I
what
think
was it?
so, yeah.
Senor Spielberg.
That's it. Yes.
Dallas, what's your favorite Simpsons episode? No, what's your favorite thing about Nightmare Before Christmas?
So, and this is big for me. I don't like musicals. You can ask
All right.
Celeste. I just don't. I've been on the show with you guys several times, talk about stuff, and it's just like, I love the music. Like,
Yeah.
from the songs
Oh,
to
wow.
the scoring, like from across the board, all the musical pieces, I genuinely love and enjoy. I'll pop this on and listen to it in the background while I work. The album John mentioned a minute ago, that's a great album of mixes. I thought that Flyleaf did a great rendition of one of the songs on there even.
Oh,
But,
cool.
So yeah, for me, the music as a whole is one of my favorite parts of this whole film.
Okay, fantastic. Paul, what would you sing the praises of about Nightmare Before Christmas?
I absolutely agree with Dallas and disagree with him at the same time. For me, it was the music, specifically the tunes. I like the melodies of not all the songs, some of the songs.
Yeah.
But not the words. It's hard for me to groove along with the
interesting.
words in it. But like, this is Halloween, and what is this? What's this? What's this? The instrumental version I have saved on my playlist. It's great.
Okay, cool. Very nice. Okay, so the music, not necessarily the lyrics, is your classic maker for this. Okay, very cool. For me, you guys pretty much just came out the gate with my classic.
Oh, you're
maker.
welcome. We knew you weren't feeling that well. We wanted to help you a little.
Appreciate
You
that.
look like you might be having a cold.
It's exactly what I have.
Wait,
Oh, I
you're
didn't know.
sick?
I didn't notice. If only you wore this before.
Anyway, the stop motion in this film is so superb. It was very easy for me to forget I was watching stop motion, except for a few times where there were like, I guess I'll call them particle effects. They're not really that. It's just like some water. I think there were some smoke effects that just didn't quite land. It like took me out because either the smoke looked too real compared to the stop motion, or it looked like, I think there's water off the fountain that looked too fake. It's like, that's obviously like some, I don't know, plasticky stuff that they're messing with. But yeah, so the stop motion of this was just like, I was like, wow, this is 93. They were able to do all this. It was fantastic. So that was my classic maker for Nightmare Before Christmas. There are things we liked about this film, things we don't like, and you know what we should get into? I'm sorry, guys. There's something else that I really liked that I wanted to bring to everyone's attention. The Cellcast.
Excuse me?
Cellcast, hosted by Jacob and Drew, as someone talks over me, hosted by Jacob and Drew, review animated movies and TV shows, discussing what they appreciate about the medium in whatever form it takes. Whether it is a traditional hand-drawn animated movie, claymation shorts, or a 3D CGI series, check out some animated reviews when you subscribe to The Cellcast at thecellcast.podbean.com. And don't forget, Cell is spelled with a C-E-L at thecellcast.podbean.com.
Popping.com?
Podbean.
Oh.
I thought you said popping.
Yeah.
Podbean.
Pod. Is that what? A-H? P-O-D?
Oh my God. P-O-D-B-E-A-N.
Oh, did POD do a cover? I bet they would have been cool.
I bet they did.
Yeah, it was. They did a cover of Making Christmas. Sunny is all like, "This time,
Nice.
this time,
Is it your guys? Are you trying to wreck my voice right now? Oh my God!
making Christmas, this time."
Okay, obviously, that didn't necessarily have that much to do with Nightmare Before Christmas, except this is probably a movie they either have covered or will cover. But how about some trivia about this film, guys?
Yeah,
Would you
that'd
like
be
that?
better.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be better. How dare you?
Well, it would be better because it's more focused on the movie rather than a commercial for another podcast.
Commercial? That was all off the cuff. What are you talking about?
Sorry.
I spit that out of my sleeve sometime. All right. Well, okay. Here is your trivia about The Nightmare Before Christmas. Did you all realize? Actually, hold on. Let me do this real quick.
Okay, Mr. Bighead.
Did you all realize that Danny Elfman, the composer of this, of The Nightmare Before Christmas, end of mode, redo that. By the way, I'm doing this so that I can do a short more easily. I can just
we don't get to be on your YouTube clip. I get it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You hush now, Paul.
Social media. I'm so proud of you, Francisco.
Well, I'm trying to remember. All right.
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
Did you all realize that composer Danny Elfman wrote the songs for The Nightmare Before Christmas before there was a script to go off of? He wrote the iconic songs after Burton described bits and pieces of the story to him. He said, Tim would show me sketches and drawings, and he would tell me the story, describe it in bits and phrases and words, and I would say, yeah, I got it. 3 days later, I had a song. Nice. So I thought that was super amazing. My question to you guys is, though, what is your favorite Danny Elfman film score? So not a favorite song, not an Oingo Boingo song, but like a favorite Danny Elfman film score. So it could be the whole movie. It could be one song from it. Whatever, pick your poison. Let's start with Dallas. What's your favorite Danny Elfman score?
Batman 1989.
Yes,
oh,
that's mine.
That's good.
That is I will put that on and drive. And just go and worry about speed limit later.
Especially that Into the Batcave song.
Oh, that's such a good one.
Yeah. No, so back in the day, like
ball?
I listened to in '89. I listened to the Prince soundtrack once. But I was like, But I put it on that Danny Elfman cassette. And if you're watching this and don't know what a cassette is, welcome. We like you, the young listeners, too.
Yeah, I have a pencil if you need it. Paul,
yeah, but no, seriously, I like you. I would put that on for hours just in the background. It's a great score.
Awesome. Oh, very cool. John, do you have a favorite Danny Elfman score?
Mars Attacks.
Oh, really? Okay. I haven't seen that movie in forever. What about that really stands out to you above like a Batman or a Spider-Man? Can you even quantify
or anything that ends in man?
Dark Man. It fit. It didn't like with Batman 89 or Dick Tracy, which.
Oh, he did Dick Tracy? I think I forgot that.
Yeah. I just had to watch that for another podcast.
Okay.
And it sounded like Batman 89. And I've noticed that a lot of his stuff sounds like all his other stuff. Whereas
I kind of see that.
Mars Attacks kind of stands itself different. It doesn't poke its head above where it needs to be. It's just, here's some quirky music for this quirky movie. And I mean, yeah.
Okay. Well, very cool. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you for answering that trivia.
Yeah, great trivia, Francisco.
Yeah. Thank you, Paul.
And now that we've all had some trivial fun as I talk over you, do you have anything to add what your favorite Danny Elfman score is?
Did Paul answer?
Yeah, he said they both like Batman 89. Paul and Dallas. Yeah.
I took Dallas's because I didn't want to think.
Oh, my
I'm joking. I legitimately had that.
Batman 89 is great. I like Men in Black. I really like how what he did for Men in Black. So I'm pretty sure that's Danny Elfman. I might get that wrong. I'm pretty sure it is.
So
it is.
Okay.
I'm thankful you messaged me about that because I was like, what else has he done? Because 89 is what sticks out to me. He did the Simpsons theme song.
Yeah. He did.
And I was like, really?
Nice.
The Simpsons. And then in chat, let's see. Lauren says Mars Attacks or Darkman. Even Spider-Man was good. So those would be your picks. Very cool. Let's get into the things that, dang it. Did you say your line, Paul? Already?
Yeah, I was in the middle of it.
Oh, yeah, but then Dallas. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Sorry.
So how do you want to transition to let's find out what memories you?
So I want to share. I want to have it where I shared what Laura said. No. Okay. Then I'll say then. But let's get back to memories now. Okay. And then
Okay.
you can start. But let me end the mode. All right. So that's okay. Enough with trivia. Like you were saying, Paul. Let's get back to our memories. What's the first one?
Let's find out what memories you, our awesome rewinders, had about The Nightmare Before Christmas.
All right. David Williams says, my parents wouldn't let me watch it as a kid. Now it's one of my favorite movies.
Drew from the Cellcast sings, Kidnap the Sandy Claus, throw him in a box, bury him for 90 years, then we see if he talks.
Drake Tungsten says, what's this? What's this?
Yeah, I don't know, Drake. Sean the Nikomata, I think that's how we say his names. I'm not good with name pronunciation. Moving on, he says, this film is by far the only Disney movie I can sing word for word apart from the Sally song.
I think he can't sing the Sally song. This is the only one.
Okay, thank you. My favorites, he goes on to say, my favorite songs are Kidnap the Sandy Claus and Making Christmas. Also, the Christmas Eve montage with Jack scaring everyone with monster presents. The great acting is superb, along with the amazing stop motion and background designs. And bonus, you can watch it on 2 holidays. I think I just say all my likes on this film is,
Film, huh?
Film, huh? Sorry, yeah. And not only can I not get names wrong, but I can't even read what people write.
Fabulous Lomax says, my memory of this movie is of how I've managed to avoid watching it. Thanks for that, Fabulous.
Nice. That's actually, that's quite an accomplishment. Because we watch it every year at the Powers household.
Oh, nice.
More on that later. Ashley Ruiz says all of my memories of this movie got replaced with how it was incorporated into 2 mainline Kingdom Hearts games.
Oh.
If that doesn't count, then I will say iconic songs, especially This Is Halloween.
This is Halloween. Nathan James Norman says, hated this movie as a kid. Whoa. I watched 20 minutes of it and turned it off. I thought it was gross and ugly. Fast forward 15 or more years, and I come home to find my kids watching it. They love it. They watch it and sing it all the time.
That's good.
And Celeste Mora says, Oogie Boogie song is one of the best.
All right. Well, let's talk about what's best about being the worst about this film. Let's spin up our worst 3 things we don't like about The Nightmare Before Christmas. And I'll kick us off, guys. I said how I liked Chris Sarandon, Chris Sarandon, and Danny Elfman for their vocal performances for Jack.
Yeah,
I thought, I was like, is this, when I was listening to Sally's voice performance, I'm like, is this some noob actress that they just hired off the street? No, it's Catherine O'Hara from like Home Alone and Beetlejuice. I'm like, she knows how to act, but she felt so stilted and like she was, I don't know what was going on. It did not feel like it was an actual actress. Maybe she's not used to voice performance versus like acting performance.
She didn't feel warm, or it felt stiff, or
yeah, it was almost. I guess this is my impression of it. Jack, I hope we can find you. I gave
that's actually
you
pretty good.
The other frog gas. Didn't you like it?
Well, it wasn't quite that bad, but I see what you mean.
I mean, it just felt very amateurish. It didn't feel like a character that
I blame more, because I've seen Catherine O'Hara's work. I blame more on the director leading her through her performance.
Like I said, I know Catherine O'Hara can act. So that's just
so that's disappointing. She's one of the main characters in there. Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
Sally's last name was Shatner, so
I don't get it. I mean, William Shatner, Sally. I don't get it. Explain this joke to me, John.
I don't know if you want to know.
Is William Shatner's wife Sally?
The way she talked was due to the
pauses that she makes kind of reminds him of a certain captain.
Thank you.
I'll be taking your geek card now, Francisco.
I know who William Shatner is. I didn't know if you were saying it was a wife of Shatner, a sister. That's the connection I was missing.
Moving
Don't
on.
shake your head at me. I am the captain. I shake my head.
All right. We do not
Let's
need
continue
to dwell
on,
on
though.
this.
I will say
Dallas,
this. I
what's
always
something
thought
you
that
didn't
her speech pattern was due to the fact that she was a doll that was made, and so she was like, and like the way they played out, she's relatively new to speaking to life itself.
Yeah, I guess so. As opposed to like, but I mean, all
They
these,
didn't do a
all
good job
these,
portraying that. Then
all these characters are made. They're all dolls, stop motion dolls. Dallas.
they're not. He doesn't mean that.
Oh, you mean in the universe she's made?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I see that. But Dallas, explanations for Sally's performance aside,
Right.
what's something you didn't like about this film?
So one thing I didn't like was, and you kind of pointed this out, was some of the particle effects just weren't quite right. Like when the steam was coming out of the soup bowl,
Yeah.
and a couple other scenes like that, they just weren't really hitting it for me. Like it took away from the practicals of everything else.
Yeah.
Mhm.
About the only time where you saw this particle thing work well, in my opinion, was when they had Zero in on the screen, but he was translucent at the same time. But like, there's just a few scenes I was just like, that didn't work well.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
just jarring compared to the rest of the film. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I can see
that's
that.
fair. That
By the
is
way,
fair.
Francisco, I just noticed your Oogie Boogie green background. Very fitting.
Yeah, I'm trying to be more in line with this film.
Yeah. Oogie Booger, I think you got the note for.
Paul, why don't you give us the note of what you didn't like about this film?
I thought it was confusing. Now, at first, I thought they set up like, this is Halloween Town, and there's other holiday lands. And then I was like, why is he trying to deliver Christmas to Christmas Town? He should be delivering Christmas to Halloween Town, not Christmas Town. Then it's like, oh no, he's delivering to all over the world. When did the world get involved? Like the whole world is more like that we know.
Yeah.
It's like it kept like so the way they set up the way the worlds work with one another, I found very confusing. At least.
There's no continuity, or there's nothing that bridges that logic for me either.
Yeah, at least they didn't do a good job of bridging that logic to me to make it more concise of like, what is going on here? So.
Absolutely. Let's see, John, was there? I know you love this movie, as we saw in your like section. But is there anything you didn't? What's one thing you didn't like about Nightmare Before Christmas?
The leaps in plot logic that go on to make this story happen.
Okay, yeah. For instance,
it's just a matter of, hey, Jack came back and he told us about this thing. Guess we're doing that now. Hey,
well, isn't he the king of Halloween Town or something? So they have to. No,
he's just the pumpkin. He's just the pumpkin king. There's the mayor. The mayor.
Yeah, but he's also the one like everyone looks at as like, this is the guy in charge. Like the mayor goes to him like the next day going, we got to start planning this, Jack. And like, he's petrified about the fact that Jack's missing because he can't plan Halloween without Jack.
Right. But I mean, it's just, it's a theme that goes throughout the movie. It's just, this person said this, so I guess we're doing it.
Yeah. There's only 30 people in the world, so why not?
Are you?
Paul, is Paul Rubens in this?
Yeah, he is.
He is.
Oh, who is he in this one?
He's one of the kids.
He's Locke. He's the kid that had the devil mask.
Okay. I didn't realize that. The more you know, I suppose. So, wait, you didn't like that? I totally lost. You didn't like that Paul Rubens was in this, or
no? It's just.
I do.
Just the lack of characters having any sense of reason.
Oh, that they're like just go along with whatever Jack says without there really being a good
it's not even specifically just Jack. It happens throughout the whole movie. It's just nobody has any sense or reason. It's just, I guess we're doing this now.
Gotcha. Okay.
Sally picks up a flower and it turns into a thing and then catches fire into her.
Yeah, I never really got that. Why is it?
Then it turns into I didn't understand why that happened first, but it's like they later explained it's a vision she has. It's to symbolize what's gonna happen.
But then they didn't set up that she's like a prophet or something.
No, that's how they set it up.
That was the setup for the explanation.
But they don't do any more of her prophecies then.
It's completely circular reasoning. It's Deus Ex Machina, and that's the reason why it's terrible.
Oh, I see.
Well, I'm sort of in agreement with you, John, because something else that didn't make sense to me, and this goes along with what you were saying, Paul, about the logic of like they're Halloween Town, then Christmas, and the whole world's there somehow. I did not understand why. Okay, so Jack gets to the tree grove where it has all the doors.
Yeah.
And then he goes through Christmas, and then he lands in a pile of snow. No other doors or anything are around. He goes in, scopes out Santa Town, and then somehow gets back to Halloween Town.
Yes.
Without doors or anything.
Yes. Well, if you can buy the logic that there's this place exists, they're hoping that you could take the leap of faith that he can like just transport in and out of them.
No. See, this is where it's wrong. It should be there should be there should be a grove in each holiday. So
he falls down the hole in one.
Oh my gosh! No, let me finish. This is Francisco's Fabulous Fan Fiction right now.
Okay, go for it, Alice. Take us to your Wonderland.
You have the grove in Halloween Town. You go through the Christmas tree, and then out the other side, you come out a pumpkin tree in Christmas Town. That was all you had to do. And then there's this bridge between worlds, and you just go back and forth. Whatever door you go into, you come out of the door that goes into that one. It's so simple. I don't know why they just plop him down with no sense of how he's going to get back.
Yeah. I just had a revelation that this movie is contingent upon the Narnia world building by C.S. Lewis.
Well, so now we need a prequel of The Magician's Nephew on how to get to places.
That's what this is. This is The Magician's Nephew. The wood between worlds, man.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe it's like the gummy bears where they have that log that shoots through all the trees and takes them different places.
Okay, well, I'm just saying it doesn't make sense to me. All right, guys, it's my dislike.
Jack just had the is what that is.
Well, they didn't set it up.
They didn't set John, being a prophet either, but apparently that was a thing. So,
yeah,
I know, and it's horrible. John, what's something else that's horrible about this movie?
It's very quiet. There's very few lines in this movie. There's a lot of, hey, let's watch this thing happen. Not a lot of dialogue, which unfortunately leads to not a lot of plot building. So it felt very monotonous.
Do you prefer movies with tons of like exposition dumps? Like, give me all the dialogue. I don't want to see action.
No.
I want to see speaking.
No, but the problem is that if you don't have any sense of dialogue, you're completely dependent on visuals for your world and character building. And because we have in the visible media, we don't have the ability to hear what the thoughts are. We don't have the ability to know the backgrounds through memories of characters on the screen. You only have what's being presented to you.
Sure.
So in the visual medium, unfortunately, you do need a certain amount of dialogue in order to create depth. And I just don't think that. I think the lack of dialogue made this movie feel very shallow to me.
Okay. All right. That's fair. I'm curious. Did anyone else feel like the dialogue was shallow? I didn't get that sense, but Dallas or Paul, did you get that sense?
No, just lack of explaining what's going on sometimes.
You know what, John, I could use more dialogue about how this portal thing works.
Yeah.
Okay, but I know, you know what? You guys didn't like my dislike. I'm not going to poop over your dislike there, John. Dallas, what's something what dislike can I poop on of yours? For me to poop on?
I don't want you to poop on anything I have. That's disgusting.
It's a Conan O'Brien.
That's not sanitary. What's wrong with you? You got a cold, now you're pooping on people's stuff?
That COVID does that to you. Have you been tested?
Oh my gosh. Dallas, just like go.
You? All right, so one of my dislikes was at the end, Sally has disconnected her limbs and to free Santa Claus, and then like Oogie Boogie catches them, and then the next scene she's put back together. I'm like, I just don't foresee Oogie Boogie going, "Hey, let me sew you back together." I just don't see that happening.
Oh, I
as he
didn't notice
chains
that.
her up. So that was like, it was just one of those like quick, like, how did we get here?
Oh, okay, yeah.
She
yeah.
walked.
Oh.
Well, I didn't get why she falls in line with that, Dallas. I didn't get why she, in the end, she comes back to Dr. Finkelstein or whatever his name is, because she is missing the arm that she needs to sew back up. But she can fall out the ledge and then sew herself up. So why can't she just find another armature, sew it onto herself, and just be rid of? I didn't get why she had to be there. It seemed like just poison him for real. And then kill him if you're not going to be. Why all these teasing poison things? I didn't understand that.
Maybe she's not that kind of girl.
Why is she poisoning him at all?
Well, she'll poison him, but not enough to kill him.
Let me ask some-
so
if
she's into pain, is what you're saying.
Well, no,
she wants to
he
see him
sleeps.
suffer.
There's no pain.
Let me
She
ask
wants
something,
her
Francisco.
freedom.
If Frankenstein's monster lost a limb, could he just go grab one out of the ground and throw it on there, or does it have to go through the electoral process to?
Well, hold on. Let me consult Emily Dickinson here in her appendices on
Mary
Frankenstein.
Shelley, sir.
No,
Boom.
it's Emily Dickinson. I think.
Where did we go? Where are we?
We're in a clearing where there's a bunch of trees, Paul.
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
good. It's Arbor Day.
Paul, was it just like of yours that there was no Arbor Day in this?
No,
in the
that would have
Grove?
been boring. And you know how much I hate slow and boring. No, I said my classic maker was the tunes, and I didn't like the words. And so my thing the thing that I didn't like are some of the words, like what's this? It has a mixture of, hey, this is great and wonderful, but it's also talking about how there's nobody's throwing heads and there's absolutely no one dead, and it's all talking about like this gross, horrible stuff within a nice, delightful song. It's kind of like This Is Halloween that has some of these disturbing lyrics about like sharp teeth and glowing red eyes and hiding under your stairs and bed, and like it's creepy and it's a little bit too much for me about like spiders in my hair. I don't want to think about that kind of stuff.
So
Paul never listened to the band The Misfits. That's all I'm saying.
No, I don't want that. That sounds disturbing. So I like the tune. Don't want to hear the lyrics. Not for me. Thank you.
Would it be better for you if it was the lyrics matched, or the music matched the lyrics? Like, would that be more? Would you be willing to listen to that and be like, oh yeah, this song slaps, or whatever the kids are saying?
I
these
would
days?
sure. You can have like, oh, this is Halloween. Fine. It's all about dark stuff. Oh, then this is a Christmas song, but now you're mixing it with light and dark stuff. So I can't appreciate the light stuff. Like This Is Halloween, I can understand, like, okay, if people enjoy dark stuff, can enjoy dark stuff. There's nothing light for the people who enjoy light stuff.
Gotcha.
That isn't corrupted by the dark stuff. If that makes sense.
Yes, that makes perfect sense. And yet another token, I'd say, into why this is a Halloween movie. But we're not having that discussion again. We are having a discussion of what our most hated thing about Nightmare Before Christmas, what gives us nightmares from watching this movie. And let's start with John. What did you hate most about
the
this
forced
film?
romance between Jack and Sally?
I understand that, because it didn't make sense. Like all these women, sorry to talk over you, John, but let me just throw this in there. But I noticed that like at the beginning, all these women are basically throwing themselves at Jack, and he's like, no, I don't want none of that. And then all of a sudden this Sally stuff gives him like something in a bucket, and he's like, oh, this girl's good. I'm going to be okay with her. And it's like, why? I agree, John. It felt forced.
Yeah. So expand on it, John. Why did it feel forced to you?
Because the characters had little to no interaction through this movie. And all of a sudden, at the very end, I'm in love with you. You're not. If anything, you're madly in like at the most. And
I didn't even see that. I felt like it was just plot armor is not the right word, but it was just contrivance that they were together. It's like, we need romance. Okay, put these two together.
There was no build up to it. It's just Sally saw him and it was right for her apparently, and Jack wasn't interested until Sally had done a few favors for him basically, and it doesn't strike me, one, it doesn't portray a healthy relationship at all, or a healthy means of
well, this is Disney.
creating a relationship.
Well, and she warned
Actions
him,
touched them.
and she was like, "Look, don't do this; it'll lead to destruction." And he realizes, "Oh, I should have listened to her. I guess we're meant to be together."
I can kind of see that, but
Based off that, then I guess me and Tipper Gore are supposed to be together because the parental advisories on all the albums I bought back in the 90s were telling me the truth of those albums. So
There we go.
if you're out there, Tipper, give me a ring.
she's our biggest fan, you know, of the podcast. All right, John, that's totally fair. I'm curious, what would be the contrasting movie couple that you're like, this is what the Nightmare Before Christmas should have aspired to, or could only hope to be?
I wish you would have let me plan for that, because now you're expecting me to pull it out of the air.
Well,
So you just pick someone like Tom Hanks and what's her name?
Meg
Meg
Ryan.
Ryan.
Yeah. Insert any female you want there.
I mean, I don't know. I don't necessarily think that there is the perfect movie couple that it shows the relationship developing on screen, because the fact of the matter is, in order, for people to fall in love, that's something that takes time, and that's something they can't really show very well in a movie.
On Solo and Princess Leia. You got a couple movies there.
She had to kiss her brother before she figured out that she liked
whatever it takes. Sometimes,
I will crib my wife's pick, because I feel like it's a good example. But when Harry Met Sally, you see their friendship to romance definitely progress over a long span of time. And
Tom Hanks.
No, that's not Tom Hanks. That's Billy Crystal, Paul.
Oh yeah, I know that. No, I meant but I agree with that. Actually, no, sorry, I was about to go off on Harry Met Sally, but I think you can also see that in some of the Tom Hanks films, is what I was meaning to say. I know Billy Crystal does a good job, but does he? No, I don't know.
Billy Crystal did a marvelous job. You got to say it right when you're talking about Billy Crystal.
You look marvelous. No, that's not how he says it, but it's close.
This conversation is mostly dead. Let's move on to Dallas.
Just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's dead, Francis.
Is a Princess Bride pull there, John? Dallas, that's who you are. What's your tragic maker for this film?
Wow.
Oh my gosh. My tragic maker, while not as intense of a dislike as what John has, is the rushed relationship between Sally and Jack also.
Wow.
Although I have a little bit more allowance for it, because the revelation of it was that this is the only one who's actually cared about him to tell him the truth. I think they should have left it with him having a revelation of somebody actually cares about me, rather than somebody just wants me because of my status or because of what I do for them. She just genuinely cared about him.
Though.
If they had done that, I think that the film would have ended a lot better, a lot sweeter.
Yeah, the romance side would have been.
Yeah,
but that's hard to do in 90 minutes or however
exactly.
Long this is.
And so I think if they just killed it there, rather than having him going, "I'm in love with you" all the way, it would have been better.
Pee-wee came back.
Yeah. Now, from what I'm told, there's a company of it called oh my goodness, Celeste is going to kill me for not remembering the title of it.
We read allegedly
the Pumpkin Queen, and it's a continuation of the story. And
that's interesting.
It fleshes out the relationship in a lot better way from what Celeste tells me, and it's really very sweet.
It's about when Jack Skellington decides to form a band, and he's starting to discover who he is. And they ask if this is the real life, or is it just if they're caught in a landslide.
Is this Long Live the Pumpkin Queen?
That might be it.
All right, yeah. It's by Shia Earnshaw.
Yeah. So, but Celeste loved it. My sister liked it too a lot.
Oh, nice. Is this a book or what?
Yeah, it's a book.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those things you read. It's on paper and writing.
I get those notifications on my phone.
I listen to books, so I don't.
Yeah, same here.
Anyway, you know, your tragic maker goes very butts up right against my tragic maker, Dallas.
I like big butts. Sorry.
We're not going back to Sir Mix-a-Lot.
I like big butts and I cannot lie.
My issue with Nightmare Before Christmas is that doesn't seem to be a moral, so to speak. I don't feel like there's a point to. I'm not learning anything about how to be a better anything from this movie.
Oh, I do, and I'll talk about it during my tragic maker. So if you want to switch to that,
yes, let's do that. Because teach me something, Paul.
Okay, the whole point of this is Jack learns that Halloween and Christmas don't really mix. That's the moral. And so I agree with them. Like, Halloween and Christmas don't really mix. And that's what this whole movie is a mixture of Halloween and Christmas, two yin and yang trying to fit together, and it doesn't do well, in my opinion. And I didn't enjoy the whole movie of that.
That's what we learned, that they don't fit together.
Yeah, they don't mix well. Otherwise, Jack would have succeeded in his adventures, and everyone would have been happy with their horrible stuff at Christmas.
Paul,
and some people are.
Okay. Paul, I'm going to respectfully disagree. I'm going to respectfully disagree with that.
There's a lot of people that do.
I believe you're close. I believe what the moral of this movie is Halloween is whatever you want to make it to be. Just don't try to force it on people who don't see similarly to you.
I didn't get that, but that's good for you, if that works for you.
He's not going to force that onto you, John.
Yeah, I'm not going to. Also, thank you for not forcing your belief on me, because I will respectfully disagree with yours.
I mean, yeah, you're welcome to be wrong, but that's just how it is.
Sure. I often am, so I'm used to it.
I will say, maybe I would have picked up on a moral if I wasn't falling asleep during this movie.
Because it was too quiet?
No, not because it's too quiet, because I'm like, what's the point of this? I'm not getting a moral of this.
Is to listen to your witchcraft girlfriend wannabe who's telling the future fortune telling, and hook up with her rather than the other people just throwing themselves lavishly at you.
Wait. Sally was made from leaves. She was stuffed with leaves. If she could see the futures, does that mean she was reading the leaves?
I think so.
Possibly.
What I was going to say, though, I'm not trying to say that every movie that is any good has to have a moral or anything, or it doesn't really have to be like super obvious what the moral is, but there has to be, I almost feel like there has to be some point to me watching this movie, to me and wanting to invest in this story. I didn't care about these characters. I didn't really care about the story. So
I understand what's going on here, Francisco. You're like me. You grew up in the 80s. We're expecting the main character like Jack to come out the end and say, listen, boys and girls, in today's story, I didn't bother, trying to see what people wanted to do. So I forced Halloween on them during Christmas, and that's a no-no.
Exactly. I need them to crystallize it for me. Exactly. Yes. Oh my God.
I just had a flashback to the USA Cartoon Express. Thank you so much for that.
Oh yeah.
Choo choo. So Paul, if I get it right, your tragic maker was that there was a moral, but that the moral was that to stay in your lane, as Lil Ron here in chat said.
I guess it's saying that it doesn't mix, and yet this whole movie is about the mixture of it. So this whole movie is basically saying to me, hey, this doesn't work.
Oh, so it's like it's a pointless movie. Okay, yeah. There's no reason for it to be, essentially.
Right.
I kind of get that. I wonder if that's the point of the poem. Dallas, you said you read the original poem. What was the thrust of it? What sort of message was it trying to get across? Just night.
No,
Halloween and Christmas, zany.
It's really simple, Francisco. I could tell you. It says roses are red, violets are blue. Halloween and Christmas don't mix, and neither do you.
Wow. That was the poem?
Yeah. No, not the original one.
That's what that's what I thought you were saying. I'm like, wow, they made a movie out of that. Go ahead, Dallas.
Obviously, they did.
No, it's been several years since I've read the poem, but from my understanding and what I've read from watching the movie, what I found the theme to be wasn't that these things don't mix, but it's the matter being okay with what you have and the giftings you have and the what you do, and understanding that
so don't go chasing waterfalls. Stick to the rivers and lakes that you're used to.
There you go.
But Jack Skellington had to have it his way or not at all, and I think he was moving too fast.
Yeah,
my goodness, that's a long poem. It's like 3 pages or something.
Yeah. Well, The Night Before Christmas, which I just realized this was a riff off that name, that title.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Are you serious? You just realized that?
Not I mean today. I just realized it today. Not like now during this conversation, but today.
You just realized that?
Yes.
I was years old when Francisco realized it.
The whole thing was a matter of
read a book.
No,
still legal. Go read a book.
We don't read those. We only listen to them.
Like legitimately, Francisco, like the entirety of the poem and the movie was inspired by combination of The Night Before Christmas, the poem, the old Christmas stop motion animations, and then like some of the birthing place of it was actually like Burton was like basically at Dillard's when they were taking down their Halloween display and they're putting up the Christmas display because nobody remembers there's a thing called Thanksgiving anymore. And he saw the two combinations of things sitting there together and he thought it was fascinating. And he imagined what would it be like if these creatures from Halloween land tried to experience Christmas, not having an understanding of what they were stepping into. And I think that's really what it was, is you can't just step into a space that you don't understand.
Yeah.
And
I think that would have been more interesting if like Paul was alluding to, I think earlier, if it was a matter of Jack trying to bring Christmas, like not do this whole planning committee thing. Hey, let me explain Christmas to you. Actually try to be Santa Claus and put presents at people's feet in Halloween Town and like trying to make Christmas something they celebrated too. I think that would have been a lot more fascinating, a lot more interesting, a lot more about this is how we celebrate other cultures or whatever. That's what Disney's into these days, right?
I honestly go ahead. Go ahead, John.
I've got it. This movie is an allegory for the wrongs of cultural appropriation.
Well, actually, that goes along. I seriously thought this when watching the movie. I thought it was a cautionary tale against Vietnam. It's basically when you're trying to do something from afar rather than living in it and experiencing it. And you know, you're making decisions and forcing it on others from afar rather. So I think there's a whole correlation there.
Okay, so if this was an allegory for Vietnam, then who was Rambo?
John. You are John Rambo.
John Rambo. Yeah. John Hardy, right here. You don't know you're the hero? Yeah. That's how this works. Oh my goodness. But that's an interesting point, Paul. I never really thought about that. But fantastic. Well, that is all our Tragic Makers, guys. So now that we've entered all our trajectories, that's a hard word to say, into the firing computer, Alice, do you have a firing solution for us?
Firing solution complete. Rating salvo at the ready. On your mark.
Let's ask Salvo Authority what the moral of the story is.
Where is Salvo Authority?
I think you have to use Salvo's authority to give your final rating. I think that's what he wants.
Oh, Salvo's at the ready.
All right, now you're just saying words that don't make sense. I don't even know. You're making up words.
No.
Like,
he's impersonating Sally. That's what he's doing.
Oh, that's a good impression. I think Catherine O'Hare did a better job. Sorry, Francisco.
Yeah. Don't quit your
That's great,
Captain.
Paul.
Yeah.
I got to give That's Our Bobo in the chat a big yes. Bring in the Silence of the Lamb reference into a Christmas movie.
It rubs the salvo on the authority, or it gets my ire again. Okay.
Put the ire in the basket.
Let's start with John. Do you rate? So we on the Retro Rewind podcast we
Dumpster
rate
fire.
movies classic, nostalgic, or tragic. If it's a classic, you'd recommend anyone go see this, whether or not they've seen it before. A nostalgic, it's worth your time to revisit if you'd seen it before. But if you've never seen it before, just pass this one by. Or a tragic, it's worth no one's time today. If you've never seen it before, keep it that way. And if you have seen it before, don't sully any good memories you have of it with a rewatch. So we're not on the bottom shelf, John. I don't know why I have to keep reminding you of that. What is your final classic, nostalgic, or tragic rating?
Simulcast, we might be.
Are you simulcasting this, Dallas? Did you ever start that?
The world may never know.
I think we will know. I'll just go to twitch.tv/geekdevotions and I'll tell you right now if that's the case.
Well, you don't know
Let's
if they don't.
see.
They could be putting this in their feed and it could show up on their feed in the future.
That's not simulcasting, Paul. That's repurposing.
Whatever.
Oh my gosh.
No tomato.
Sir, this is a Christmas movie. It's called Regifting. Look it up.
Like an
John,
Indian.
what is your final rating for The Nightmare Before Christmas?
My final thought on it is tragic.
Tragic. Okay, so that was your prediction as well.
It's a very tragic dumpster fire.
Wow.
Wowza. All right,
Not shocking, considering all your likes.
Dallas, you had predicted classic. Did you end up rating this a classic?
I did.
Really? Oh,
Yep.
crap. C for crap. No, C for classic. So this just is as good as you remembered it. Like, expand on why you rated it classic.
Yeah, I mean, it hits all the right spots for me. Again, from a technical point of view, it's absolutely beautiful and gorgeous. I love the music. I love the sounds of it. I enjoy the story. I enjoy some of the things that take place within it as a whole. I enjoy the art of it. The little goth kid in me enjoys this on a regular basis because I like some of the darker stuff mixed in with some light. So I have a lot of great memories watching this growing up and enjoying it with friends and family. And so we watch this movie every single year for Halloween, Christmas time frame. It's
Now,
just
do you
one of
watch
those
it for
things.
Halloween or do you watch it for Christmas?
I watch it for both. And
Nice.
so
Do you watch it twice a year? Or
Oh yeah, that's a good. You watch it twice a year?
yeah, I really do. And so
That's
horrible our Christmas will be.
and so I know and maybe it's just that I was in the right time frame to enjoy it because I'm like cards on the table. I'm the youngest person in the room at the moment with you guys.
speak for yourself.
And so when it
I think you
landed,
just did.
like
Yeah.
like I was at the right age to be captivated by the whole thing, and then had a lot of friends that we enjoyed this, and so yeah, for me it's a classic film. I love this film, and I know Nathan James Norman doesn't get it, and but his kids do, and his kids are cool.
Oh.
Wow.
But that's all right. Nathan is cool too.
I do want to say real quick, John, you said tragic, and Dallas just said something about the mix of light and dark. Movies like Big Trouble in Little China mix light and darks, and you like that movie, I presume. So why don't you like this movie? It's like the same movie.
No, it's
I know.
the effects in this are much better.
Oh, wow. Wow.
See, I came on here thinking possibly Paul and I could be friends, but he's making that difficult.
Wrong, dude.
Oh, wow.
Paul, why don't you, let's see how difficult you make it with your rating. You had predicted nostalgic. What was your final?
Yeah.
What's your final rating though?
I personally don't like the mixture of the light and dark. That's me. So for me personally, it's a tragic. But we watch it, like I said, every year at my house because there's members of this household that love it. And I like Dallas. I know lots of people that really like this. So if people were going to ask me if I recommend it, I'd say maybe it might work for you. So I'm going to keep it at nostalgic because I think there's a group of people there that this does fit. But it's not a classic where I said, you have to check this out.
All right. Interesting. Okay. Well, that just leaves me, guys. And I had predicted nostalgic, but after watching this, I could go the rest of my life and never watch it again. I'm going to rate it tragic.
Wow.
So it's just, I felt like there are so many things that didn't have continuity. There are certainly elements that are good. It's not like the worst movie ever by any means. I'm not trying to say that, but I rate movies for me, and it's just, I could go the rest of my life, like I said, and never watch this movie again and be fine. So I'd much rather watch a Coraline or a Kubo and the Two Strings or a Rudolph and the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which we're covering next time. At least, so I think that I might feel differently after reviewing it. It's been a while since I've seen it, but with all those, ratings tabulated, the Retro Rewind podcast rates The Nightmare Before Christmas a highly disputed tragic film. We'd recommend no one go see this, whether or not you've seen it before.
Sorry, Dallas. I tried to help.
It happens,
But
bro.
now it's time to get back to our own time. Good
I'm used
old
to being the right person.
20XX.
Wait, 20XX?
Comsat online. Receiving incoming transmission.
Feels good to be back, but we wouldn't have been able to travel back to 1993 to begin with if it weren't for our amazing reflux capacitors, namely Jared Holzhauer, Deborah Powers, Brian Keene, Patrick Hicks, Chris Cowan, Geek Devotions. Oh, you're right here! The Untold Podcast, James Kennison, Drew of the Cellcast, Ashley Ruiz, Pastor Dewson, Kennethan, Redeemed Otaku, That's Our Babu, Josh Ams, D. Tungsten, Andy Lewis, Jeff, Tony from the Retro Days, Mr. Lost, Gerald Hafner, Rosie, Dale, in addition to 6 other awesome patrons as well. Thank you all so much for keeping the gigawatts coming. And if you want to help keep us flying for as little as $1 a month and get bonus content for your generosity, head over to RetroRewindPodcast.com/support to start.
This stream sponsored by PaulJPowers.com.
All right. Well, we're thinking.
Sorry, hold on. We have a review.
Go for it. Well, I wanted to thank Dallas for supporting, with PaulJPowers.com there.
We also want to thank Mario 500 for their new review on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
They gave us a 5-star review and said,
wow,
a review of Retro Rewind Podcast. I had found what I had believed to had been certain installments of this Retro Rewind podcast to had been very enjoyable and very pleasant. For example, no profanity.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mario 500, for that review. I assume English is
I can fix
his
that.
first language.
No, that would just be another
Edna mode.
Exactly.
F-stop.
The F-stop, yes.
Yeah. That would be. And you know what? While we're thanking people, we also want to give a big Tim Burton-esque hug to John Haru and Dallas Mora for supporting us with their thoughts about The Nightmare Before Christmas tonight. So I'd like to start alphabetically, and let's go with Dallas. Where can people find you online? Is there anything cool you got going on?
Yeah, you can find us at geekdevotions.com, where you find links to everything we do, our weekly devotionals we put out every Friday on YouTube, plus the myriad of podcasts such as the Bottom Shelf, where we review terrible movies. John's actually part of that. The Gundam Watch, where we review Mobile Suit Gundam. John's actually part of that. Com Talk about Geek Devotions, where we do various things. John's part of that. And then We Read Allegedly, where they review books. John's also part of that.
But
so apparently John's part of all of this.
Everything.
Is there any part of Greek Devotions John isn't a part of?
Yeah, the Friday devotions.
Oh, okay. Yet.
And the streams, the live streams.
Oh,
Cool.
okay.
Well, speaking of which, John, thank you for coming out here and joining us for this review.
John. Awesome having you on finally.
Where can people find you online? Is there anything cool you got going on?
I do DM at Playing Games with Strangers, so if you want to hear what goes on inside my head and how I force action upon it, feel free to go check that out. I also am guesting on a upcoming episode of Strangers and Aliens. Might be out before this.
Oh, nice.
Might be out before this shows up, but I just recorded it yesterday with Ben, and we talk about Dick Tracy. So that's another movie from the same year.
Oh, yeah.
With Danny Elfman's scoring. I just found that out today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
And anything else you want to know about, check the link tree in the podcast description that Dallas will send you.
Wow.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Dallas. Thank you so much, John. And of course, my awesome, not a nightmare, co-host Paul.
My worst nightmare.
Oh my gosh. And all you rewind world for another fun voyage.
You're welcome. And you can find me, PaulJPowers.com, at PaulJPowers.com.
Oh, and you can find me on our Discord for show announcements or just to say hi. Join us there at RetroRewindPodcast.com/Discord.
This podcast is a proud member of Culture Box.
There's Nathan.
A curated collection of podcasts, videos, and articles that will provide you a balanced meal of content. You will find culture celebrated for its past and future, satirized for its extremes, explored in study, and created anew in story. Point your web browser to culturebox.media.
I knew Nathan would be back later.
I need to make a quick correction. The crowd is right. That was in 1990. Dick Tracy was in 90, not 93. That was a faux pas on my part.
Wah, 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 wah. Wah, wah, wah.
Important information. And as Nathan just said, we are part of Culture Box Media Network. Find all the shows unpacking truth through story, comedy, and geekery at culturebox.media, which is kind of not people aren't used to, but that's unusual. It sticks out in a good way, hopefully. Culturebox.media. With that, Captain, we are our final approach to base, where hopefully no one blows up our sleigh on the way.
That would be sad, XO, but thank you so much, and thank you all for listening. We pray you're more joyful today than when you first hit play. But like a Pokemon, we gotta catch you all for Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, our next episode for Winter Miss of the Retro Rewind Podcast.
Retro Rewind mission complete. Proceed to nav point Omega and return to base.
Haven't you heard of peace on Earth and goodwill toward men?
Now!
I guess neither have lawless cowboys on distant planets.
Oh, then it must be time to review another episode of Firefly!
Ship like this, be with you to the day you die.
Retro,
Because it's a death trap.
The pod of rewind.
Pretty cunning, don't you think?
They were robbed of time, young Indy made them poor. Burnt out on dullness, what was it all for? With Firefly now, what reviews will they find? The hero of time, Retro of rewind.
We gotta go to the crappy town where I'm a hero.
How did young Indy make them poor?
Poor of time. He made, took all our time.
I still don't understand that reference. Moving along.
Anyway, welcome to another review of Firefly, as we review episode by episode of this series on our way to our Christmas episode covering the movie Serenity. Paul, what episode are we reviewing today?
This episode we are reviewing is number 13, titled Heart of Gold, which is actually the third of three episodes that did not originally air in the U.S. when it was first aired because the series got canceled.
Oh, yeah.
So can you give us a one-sentence synopsis of the plot of this episode, Captain?
Yes. Anara has an old companion friend from companion school, I guess, that calls for help because there's a lord on the planet she's on that she runs a whorehouse for. I usually parentheses a lot.
Commas and pause. It must be from the Shatner school. That's Sally's relative, right?
I mean, he just watched it. He should have this down.
Yeah. Anyway, continue, Captain.
And so there's a lord that's, I forget what the title is of this guy that's sort of, he wants to have one of the prostitutes at the Heart of Gold girls. That's like the inn thing. It's called the Heart of Gold. One of the prostitutes there, the lord wants to have one of the prostitutes have her as baby because his wife can't
have her as a baby.
Have his baby, have a child with one of the prostitutes because his wife can't have a child.
Oh, is that why?
So
okay,
so she calls Anara for help.
That's right.
Which the Firefly crew comes and helps them. I know that was horrible. I'm sick, guys. Have I mentioned that?
I love my captain.
Thank you. So let's go through it and say one thing we liked about this episode of Firefly, guys. Let's start with Dallas.
I liked the fact that while some of Mal's motivation for just stepping in to help was his relationship to Homegirl, it really boiled down to there was something that didn't sit right with him about the situation. That these women who were being attacked, and a gentleman who was forcing this other woman to surrender her child to him because stuffs.
So I'm sorry, it sounded like you were explaining the plot again, but I'm sorry. What did you like? You like the plot, or what did you like?
I like the I like the fact that Mal stepped in. He said, "I'm going to step in. I'm going to handle the situation for free." He wasn't looking for compensation. He's like, "This is wrong, and we're going to handle it." And I appreciated that. I mean, throughout the series, Mal was kind of like, okay, he's like morally ambivalent. But this was a moment where it was like no, we're not going to put up with this crap today.
Yeah, totally. Awesome. John, did you have a like?
You're rude, bro. I was just gonna sit this episode out, but you want to put shame on me? Fine.
I will ask. Have you ever seen Firefly? So I will throw a shot at myself too. I forgot to watch this week's episode, so my apologies. John wasn't able to watch it either. Have you seen Firefly before though, John, or no?
I watched it up to a certain point. I had never experienced Firefly until I saw
Serenity, the movie.
I mean, I had never experienced Serenity without before I saw Firefly. I saw Firefly first, and then I heard it was based off a TV show. I think I watched about half the series and got tired and just gave up.
All right.
Oh, wow.
So not a brown coat. Nice. No, I'm glad to have one aboard.
No, I do like Nathan Fillion as an actor.
Yeah, he's great. I wish they could do on better stuff. That's all.
But my favorite role, my favorite role of him was his portrayal of Cactoid Jim on the I just forgot the
Daring
name of the podcast.
Adventure Hour, the
Adventure Hour, the Thrilling Adventure Hour.
Yes.
Him as Cactoid Jim was what really endeared him to me. So
okay. That's a deep cut. I would be surprised if Dallas or Paul know what that is, but
no.
I love the fact that I finally found somebody who knows what the Thrilling Adventure Hour is other than me.
I only ever listened to Robo Fist guy, the cowboy
Sparks,
sci-fi.
Nevada,
Sparks, Nevada, yeah. I only ever listened to that. I didn't listen to the other ones, but
that's too bad because they were all pretty good.
I believe it.
He also did
for context, Paul and Dallas, this is a podcast that was done in the style of old radio dramas,
it's
audio
podcast.
dramas.
Oh.
And so there were different segments. There was like a sci-fi cowboy segment. There was like a comedy horror segment. I think there was one other one. I forget what it was. But anyway, so they would do like 2 or 3 different skits each time, but then you had to come back for the next week to see how it resolved. And it was very serialized in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come back next week for what happens to Batman next or something like that. Anyway, continue, please, John.
Well, I was just gonna say he had another series to himself on the Thrilling Adventure Hour as well.
I didn't know that.
Ace American. I can't remember his Jefferson Davis. Ace American.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So, it was. I think he's a much better voice actor than he is a physical actor, in my opinion.
Interesting. I like his physical comedy too, but so you would say your like of this episode is Nathan Fillion, it sounds like.
Sure.
Okay, great.
Well, I can pretend.
That's what. Yeah.
I honestly forgot who I asked first. What I think it was Dallas. So, Paul, what did you like about this episode?
What I liked and I didn't like, I thought the very end scene between Inara and Mal, where she was realizing and had the talk with him of her growing too close to Mal and being hindered by it, like not wanting to leave and basically she needs to move on with her life. I thought it was very true and poignant to the characters that they had built up till now. It hit very well dead center and emotional, and it made sense. With the way
absolutely.
The series and the episode went. I didn't like the outcome, but it made sense.
Right.
And
it didn't feel contrived. It felt like this was felt very real.
Earned.
Yeah.
And I bravo to them for the way they handled that. But it's frustrating because I like Inara. I don't want her to leave.
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah. For me, from what I remember, I really enjoyed the shootout. Just them like held up in the Heart of Gold and like hit all the guys and just cover all the exits and stuff. I thought that's always a fun dynamic in Western. It's like, that too, Paul.
Exactly.
So, and I thought I hate that he had this cool laser thing that's like, oh, here we go, I'll just shoot you all.
Which supposedly had automatic targeting that didn't automatic target.
Didn't target nothing.
Oh,
hey, I got a question. Since they're in the Heart of Gold, does that make them all Golden Girls?
Like it. Yes, I agree with that.
Just
sure. That's what that is. Wow. Well, before we get to what we didn't like about this episode, who did you connect with the most? John, obviously Nathan Fillion as Mal.
I will say it was nice to see Wash alive and walking around.
Yes, of course. That's always a plus. Paul, who did you connect with the most or like the most?
This one I had a tough time. I even right now, you know what? Oh, River, when she was during the when they were trying to deliver the baby.
Yes. And she's like all looking like,
yeah. And she says the line, "I wonder who's in there."
Yeah.
And just to go on that not a surface level, but another level deeper, thinking like that, I really enjoyed that moment with her. Like, there we go. There's some
absolutely.
Good, yeah.
Yes. How about you, Dallas?
I think I said this last time, but I think I connected with Mal just because I appreciate how he just he doesn't put up with crap.
Yeah, pretty much. For me, it's kind of a cheat. I like the Zoe Wash marriage, how they're like kind of wanting kids now and they're trying to navigate that. And so I thought that was good. It was just a brief moment. It wasn't much of the episode, but I liked how they addressed that. And that felt similar to the whole Anara Mal conflict being very real. I felt like that was very real for a marriage and like, how do we do this? We're on a spaceship. It's like,
I'll attest to that because like his whole thing was it was dangerous. And like Celeste and I have legitimately had real life conversations as of late of like, you know, bringing a kid in. Like, so we're getting to the point where like, you know, we're about ready to have kids. It's like, is it safe?
It's never safe.
I was about to say it's never been safe,
right? But like, just looking at the things happening in the world right now, and it's like, man, it's like, you know.
But hey, Dallas, you got to remember, someone has to birth the Antichrist.
Oh my God!
Thanks, appreciate that, buddy.
Sure.
Wow. That's if the Antichrist is actually a person, Paul. It could be a.
Oh, that's right. We've talked about it could be an alien, or it could be a
government.
You mean like
it could be a body,
a committee.
Yes, a committee, like the committee that killed Firefly. Yes.
I went to one quick story just off that real quick.
Yeah.
Reminded me. Years ago, there was a gentleman that used to be part of my church, and he had some issues, and he was talking to a buddy of mine, and he goes, "Hey, do you think I'm the Antichrist? Is it possible that I could be the Antichrist?" My buddy looked at him and goes, "You know, the Bible tells us that we're going to like the Antichrist, that people will like the Antichrist. And I don't particularly care for you."
Well, he said he'll deceive most, not everybody. So, yeah, and with God, all things are possible. So, hey, I'm rooting for you, buddy. You know that you're not the Antichrist, but anyway, you want to take it.
Anyway, let's get in. Speaking of things we don't like the Antichrist, what didn't we like about this episode? Let's start with Paul. What didn't you like so much about this episode? Hearts of Gold.
I hate to say it, and some people have said it before, and I've tried to avoid it, but the graphics on this, the land speeder at the beginning where he's like hovering looks so fake. No, this is decades, not just years, but decades after Star Wars Episode 1, A New Hope, where they had a land speeder that looks legitimately like they did a good job of like showing it float through the desert. This did not. I know they tried to do the same thing, but the effects in it, I know it's a TV versus a movie, but you've had decades to improve on this, or at least match it. And it just takes it. Oh, so frustrating. And the what I said before, what was it? The auto focusing laser gun did not auto focus.
Yeah. The auto targeting. Yeah. Dallas, how about you? What did you not like about this?
I didn't want to say the graphics because I said it last time I was on here. Because they were TV graphics that just don't carry over. So
it's low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. Something I did not enjoy was because it's a sticking point for me, was the treatment of the ladies. I know that they were prostitutes,
Sure.
but my dude.
Oh, just in general, the females in general on this.
The females
planet,
in general, and then especially that scene where he's forcing himself on the one young lady who had betrayed everybody. Like I have a very small limit for that kind of stuff, and I was like, all right, let's get this scene over, please, because
we do not need to go this far. Let's go.
So that was me.
Yeah.
I mean, did you feel like that helped make him seem even more despicable? Like,
I already disliked him. I didn't need that, but it did. It added to the disgust of the guy.
The whole town. It makes you not even support any of the people that are on there.
I was ready just to burn the whole town down.
I was about to say, it made me feel that Mao's plan of just leaving the planet should have been a better plan.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Fair point. For me, I've always been torn, and I guess you could kind of see. I kind of see your point, Paul, about how it's very real, this conflict between Inara and Mal, but that he sleeps with, I forget her name because again I forgot to watch this episode. But the main lady of the Heart of Gold, the head of it, how her and Mal have sort of a flirtation that leads to them sleeping together, and then Inara is sad about it. I'm like, well, you had your chance, Inara.
Yeah.
So that's all.
Waited too long.
Yeah, and I get that it's more complicated than that.
Waited too long, and now you're in the friend zone.
I've been there before.
So that's the thing that has always sort of pricked my ire, got my goat, where the phrase is.
Grind
John,
your gears. Yeah.
Do you have what's something you don't like about Firefly in general?
The concept.
Why did you get bored?
Because if everybody is Han Solo, then nobody is Han Solo.
Wait, there's only one Han Solo.
No, wait. That's like saying because if everybody's special, then nobody's special. No, everybody's special in their own way. Everybody can be Han Solo.
Nope, not everybody's special, sir.
Well, I disagree with that.
No, you're welcome to disagree. We had this conversation already once.
Rewind if you want to, folks. It would be a retro rewind. But anyway.
We'll timestamp it for you.
Oh my gosh. Probably won't. Anyway, so based on watching this episode, if you did or remembered watching it, would you continue watching the rest of the series, which is only one more episode, but would you continue watching the rest of the series? Dallas, how about you?
All right, so just for understanding, if I got to this point, or is it this is the only episode I've seen?
This is the only episode.
No, you haven't seen the movie. You haven't seen any other episodes.
It would be hard for me. I'd have to see if this is. I'd have to ask somebody if this was how the entire series was.
Yes, it's all about going planet to planet, rescuing horrors.
It really bothered me. So it would be a hard, I don't know. We'll see what happens here.
And
I'm not a big Western person already, and this felt more Western than some of the previous episodes I've seen.
That's true. Yeah.
And so it's one of those things like, I mean, dude had a laser from the Dollar Tree, but I don't know.
Yeah, it did look pretty plasticky, junky.
Yeah.
It literally said check battery. I was like,
oh my god!
I thought that was funny, cheesy. It was like a cop out, but yeah. And by the way, folks who are offended that we're referring to these people as whores, that's because they refer to themselves that way in this episode.
Yeah.
Several times and made a point to do that. So
I wasn't offended, but thank you.
No, but if any listener is
fair, then for me. That's tough. I mean, I like the Western stuff, so I probably would, just because I enjoy that motif. But
the
John,
rescuing of prostitutes.
I am at
what motif?
The Western motif, Paul.
Oh, the space cowboy motif. Okay.
Yes, John. It sounds like you probably wouldn't, just because you got bored of the series.
Not only wouldn't I didn't.
All right.
Good point there. And that we could agree on.
Oh my gosh.
You didn't.
So according to the Retro Rewind podcast, we would, I don't know, would we agree to watch? I guess not.
I would. So we're at a
to keep watching.
I'd have to have a conversation with somebody and then explain.
We'll say
to me,
keep watching. You got one more episode. Just keep it up. But for me, for John, for Dallas, and for Paul, we bid you all Merry
don't let the space bugs bite.